Before the first oil strike in February 1947, most Albertans were making their livelihoods by farming and ranching. People lived on farms. Back then, urban wasn't even a concept on the prairies. Once the CPR line was built in the 1880s, immigrants flooded into the prairies. They brought knowledge of different farming practices and created a foundation in agriculture that made Alberta prosperous. Alberta's population was expanding, but people still lived on farms until Leduc No. 1 struck oil, and then a dramatic shift in urbanization occurred. Before oil was found, only 30% of the population lived in urban areas. After oil, the number moving to cities went from 60 to 70 and then up to 80%. Over the last decade, people started asking questions about where our food comes from and why there are so few farmers. They examined the state of our food supply, the impact of our food system on the environment, and the potential for food shortages. Prepared meals and fast food dominated.
I'm picking my beans, and they're a wonderful crop.
Well, we got a couple of early tomatoes and some peas
And my peas, my snap peas are just wonderful.
Fresh appears to be an innovative approach to food and urban agriculture, but it is really a return to many of the traditions and practices that were once part of daily life.
The 5 goals address these really big, broad areas, and they are, generally speaking, the local economy. So there's an economic development goal, health and food security from a public health and a personal health perspective. There's also placemaking and enlivening the public realm. That's another big goal. There's an ecological goal to ensure that we're doing this sustainably, and then there's a connected but also big goal on reducing our emissions and using our energy wisely in the food system. And we did a really wide and broad public consultation that involved multiple streams of input, including surveys, online surveys. We had a very unique citizen panel process that we partnered with the Center for Public Involvement on, and that was really unique and innovative. We had a really strong response from citizens and stakeholders as well.
Food systems planning is relatively new. As one of only a handful of Canadian food policies, FRESH is a progressive strategy that will reintegrate food and agriculture into community and resource planning. These old ideas may have found a fresh start as solutions to our 21st century urban lifestyles. We may rediscover that before oil and gas, there was agriculture. For information about FRESH, please visit edmonton.ca/food and egg.